mock draft. We're doing this one a little bit different today. We're going to be doing it on Underdog Fantasy. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a best ball site. Best ball is basically a format where you just draft your team and then it puts in the best player week over week. So there's no in-season keep up with it. It's a really nice way to draft. These are also all paid leagues, so you have to pay a fee to get into these drafts. It can be anywhere from $3, $5, $10, up to a lot more. And then at the end of the year, you can win money. It's pretty awesome. And because these are paid leagues, the people drafting in these are taking it extremely seriously. In my opinion, one of the best ways to prepare for your draft, since these are all real people and people that actually care about it. I've been a little bit hesitant to actually do a draft on here because I can't control who's coming in and out, so I can't really control when it starts. Eventually, hopefully we'll have enough subscribers here and we can do our own leagues and our own drafts, and that'll be awesome. You also only have 30 seconds per pick, so trying to talk through my picks and explain everything while also drafting, I think could be a little bit hard for me, and there's probably gonna be a learning curve, so just stick with me. We're giving this one a shot. You also get randomized in a draft position, so you don't really know. So overall, just a fantastic way to prepare for your drafts. Although it is a little bit different since there's a lot of drafting for upside. Essentially just plays whoever does the best each week. So the draft strategy is a little bit different. It's also a 3 wide receiver, 1 flex league with a ton of bench spots, since obviously you need a draft with a ton of depth, since you can't really control the injuries, can't drop or pick up people, and you don't really look at this till the end of the season. But yeah, with all that out of the way, we can get into this draft. I got put at the 1 spot, which can be pretty awesome. I think it's the easy pick for me here, going to be Jonathan Taylor regardless. And obviously, I'm probably going to make some picks you guys don't agree with. Just let me know and we can talk about it in the comments. Now let's get it rolling. All right, pretty simple with Jonathan Taylor. I feel like I've been getting a lot of early draft picks in Underdog this year, which has been nice because I like drafting there, especially in 10-team leagues. You can also pick how many people you want to draft with. So this is a 10-team league just because that's what I play in and what I've been doing on mock draft. There's also a little bit more value on the wide receivers, partially because it's a 3 wide receiver league, and also wide receivers tend to have a lot higher spike game, so there's a lot of value with them there. I still tend to kind of draft the running backs early just because there's so many wide receivers I like later on, so my draft strategy doesn't change too much. Like I've been talking about my past couple of videos, you want to know the league format and how that affects your drafting. We see Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson go in the top 5 here. I don't expect that to happen in a lot of home leagues, and see even Jamar Chase here at the 6. I don't, like I was saying, don't really expect that to happen in a lot of home leagues, but I totally understand why these people are doing that. And because it's kind of the 3 wide receiver, there's some more value on it there and crazy upside with those guys. They also have a solid system for queuing up players, so it's always a good thing to make sure you have players queued up. If you don't pay attention though, and your 30 seconds on the clock runs out, it's going to pick whoever the top of your queue. So make sure you're not queuing up like these random people down lower to make sure you know where they are. Kind of try to queue it up in the order that you would draft them at, or what I like to do, kind of put the people on the board and then change them from there on out. So we can see how here the first round when Jonathan Taylor, CMC, Derrick Henry, Kupp, JJ, Jamar, Austin Eckler, Devontae, Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon, then Javonte, Dalvin Cook, CD Lamb, Najee Harris. I mean, I think Dalvin Cook and Najee going this late is pretty crazy. That's why it's good to do these drafts. You can kind of see how everything kind of falls and the different ways that draft can fall. All right, I'm coming up here early. There's still a lot of good running backs on the board, so I'm definitely going to take one of them. So we see Debo go. So he's going to be off the board. So we're definitely taking one of these running backs, and I want to get one of these 2 wide receivers here. At this moment, I would probably be taking Swift and Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans has a ton of upside. He's probably going to have some higher spike weeks than Tyreek Hill. So we see Swift go. So I'm still going to take Aaron Jones because I want the 2 elite RBs. I absolutely love Aaron Jones. I think he'll have some crazy spike weeks. Then it's kind of between Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill. You know, you kind of splitting hairs there between who you want. I think Mike Evans is probably going to have some higher spike weeks just because he's going to be with Tom Brady and no Chris Godwin to start the year. So I'm going to take him, but if you want to take Tyreek Hill, totally get it. Kind of weird hearing these mixed reports about Godwin. Like, I don't really know, like, we don't know if he's going to be playing the start of the year, how long they think he could be out for. And I really like Mike Evans this year, but that can obviously change how much I like or dislike him depending on when Godwin's going to be coming back. So I would like some more news on that. Not sure about that. I'm also a big fan of Leonard Fournette, and there's a lot of drafts where I've been seeing myself end up getting Leonard Fournette and Mike Evans, and I'm really not, if you've watching my videos, I'm not a fan of drafting teammates, but obviously I'm not going to not do it just because of that. But ideally, I try to stay away from that just because it limits your upside, and especially in like best ball leagues, like you want as much upside as possible. See, we see Nick Chubb sitting here a lot longer now as Deshaun Watson suspended until week 13. Here's a look at the draft board so far. See people like Mike Williams going way higher in these drafts than normal drafts because obviously a ton of upside there. I think, yeah, he even went before Keenan Allen here. Other people, like I know Gabe Davis is ranked extremely highly on an Underdog because of that upside. You have to figure out where certain people are going early and other people are going later, just depending on these leagues. So like you see Keenan Allen drop into like basically the 4th round. That's not going to happen in your home leagues. Also, part of the reason why I haven't been doing all my drafts on Underdog is just because there is a difference there between how these teams get constructed. I absolutely love Travis Etienne this year. Also, let me know your guys' draft strategy for this year. Obviously, I'm going pretty heavy running back early. I really like to get those 3 elite running backs if I can, if it kind of falls that way, but definitely trying to get 2 within the first 3 rounds. Then from there on out, pretty much stacking wide receivers heavy. Definitely never taking quarterbacks early. I'll take tight ends early if they fall to me at a value, but if they're not at a value, then I'm not going to force myself to take them. So we see there is some interest with Breece Hall, but I've kind of been falling off of him lately. I think here in the 5th round, a little bit better, but I think Terry McLaurin and Marquise Brown are pretty clear wide receivers for me here. So I'm probably just going to take both of them and worry about the rest of my running backs later. I'm a huge fan of Breece Hall, obviously, just because his talent and everything. But Michael Carter will be eating into his work, not part of a great offense. And the first 9 weeks of the season, like there's a decent chance to go 0-9. That's just not what you can have on your fantasy team if you want it to be elite. So I'm going to avoid him here and take Marquise Brown. I think he's going to have some insane upside for the beginning of the year. And will still be super valuable once DeAndre Hopkins comes back around like week 6. And so you can kind of see here, Josh Allen didn't go to the mid 4th round. Now we're almost mid 5th round, still not another quarterback off the board. So that's why these drafts are really good, because that's a lot more likely outcome of what's going to happen in real drafts. These leagues are also all 4-point per passing touchdown. So people like Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, a little bit more valuable. So you can see this is kind of how I queue up my players when I'm waiting in the draft. So I kind of just go up by position, and then when it gets to my turn, depending on what position I'm looking for, I'll take whoever's available and whoever's the top. I relatively order it in the way that I have them ranked, but not totally. Like I said, I don't like the tight ends early, but if George Kittle is here at the end of the 6th round, I'm gonna take him. I doubt he lasts through these picks, but I will definitely take him if he's available. And while I'm saying that, he gets taken. I'm surprised he lasted that long. You have to take in consideration that you're at the end of the round / the beginning, so no one's gonna be there that is here now on your next pick. So, I think I need another running back. So I'm going to take another running back here, because none of these guys or anyone near their tier is going to be left when it comes to my pick. Like I said, I want to take a running back here. I have David Montgomery ranked the highest. I understand why AJ Dillon is ranked higher in Underdog. There's definitely a lot of upside there. Probably will have some crazy spike weeks, but I still need a little bit more consistency. So I'm going to take David Montgomery there. And then I'm going to take another wide receiver. It's between Chris Godwin and Rashad Bateman. Because I already have Mike Evans, I'm going to steer away from Chris Godwin, and I'll take Bateman here. Also, we don't really know when Godwin's coming back, like I talked about earlier. So definitely has some hesitancy there. So I'm going to take Bateman here, get another wide receiver. I've really been growing on him this year. Give me the wide receiver 1 for the Ravens. And when he was that last year, he actually showed to be extremely good. And Marquise Brown isn't there anymore. So a lot of things adding up for him. And where he's going in draft, you can kind of get him around your wide receiver 3 to 4 range. I absolutely love that. Okay, and you see people like Trey Lance going as a quarterback 7 off the board because of that upside rushing ability. Man, Chase Edmonds over Elijah Mitchell, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard. I mean, I understand that. I absolutely love Chase Edmonds. It's just crazy to see people actually taking him that high. So if Trey Lance was still on the board, I was going to take him there, but he just got taken. I'm up the next pick. If Hopkins is still there, I'll take him just because I don't need him to produce right now, and I think he'll be great for my team later on. So I'm going to take him here with one of my picks. Nobody that I'm super in love with. Definitely no tight ends left. There's still some solid. I like Joe Burrow, so I don't know. Maybe I'll take him here. I'm not the biggest fan of him, just because it's not a 6-point league. So I'm gonna take Hopkins here. I like Kadarius Toney because of his upside, and Tony Pollard. Let's see, Ramondre Stevenson. I think I need another RB here. I like to normally go for around 5 RBs, and I think that there's gonna be a drop off pretty soon. I have Miles Sanders ranked the highest. I'm going to take him right here. And there's nobody I absolutely love right here. There's definitely upside with Tony Pollard and Ramondre Stevenson because they can kind of take over. I don't think Tony Pollard is going to take over the role unless Zeke gets hurt, where I think Ramondre Stevenson definitely could. There's definitely like outcomes where they're both extremely valuable. It's crazy to see Antonio Gibson this low now. I mean, such a sad case, such talent wasted. I absolutely loved him becoming jack of all trades. What kind of report is that? So this is definitely where now I'm looking at quarterbacks and tight ends. The tight end are a lot lower. So at this point, I'm kind of just punting it. If there's a quarterback, I definitely was thinking about Joe Burrow there. I just don't think he has the same upside because he doesn't have any rushing. I mean, not none rushing ability, but his rushing ability is pretty limited. And he doesn't do a ton with it. So I had to held off him there. I think at this point, though, pretty crazy value. It's over 10 picks past where his ADP is. So anyone that big of an ADP difference, like I'll take that value any of the week. Also seeing Dameon Pierce go this high, crazy. I get it though. He's probably going to be the starter in Houston pretty soon. Definitely need to start getting my quarterback and tight end position built out. There was nobody that I really just felt was a good value for me. Joe Burrow, kind of. I absolutely love Sky Moore this year. I think there's a lot of upside from there. I'll still take Antonio Gibson though. Like if he's going this late, I think there's still like a world where he can become part of what he has been. I mean, he's technically been a running back both of his 2 years in the NFL, although last year it was pretty fluky, so I'm not too excited about it. But there comes a point where I'm taking him because he's just too talented to pass up. Wait, Derek Carr went ahead of Tom Brady? Huh? Somebody make that make sense. I do need a quarterback though, so I'm probably going to take Matthew Stafford as long as he doesn't get picked here. There's not going to be anyone near this tier on my next turn, so I need a quarterback now. I'll take Aaron Rodgers if Stafford isn't there, but I'd prefer Stafford. Woo, let's go. All right, I'm going to take Stafford, Antonio Gibson. I definitely do have some interest in Rashad Penny just because it sounds like Kenneth Walker's been a little bit hurt. But I think there's still a lot of upside with Antonio Gibson given how much of an athlete he is. And the team does like him. He just fumbles the ball way too damn much. And if he could figure that out, I mean, he's going to be an absolute stud. Where he normally goes, I just can't get behind it. But in the end of the 10th round, I'll take Antonio Gibson there. If you're still watching, let me know your guys' draft strategy for Underdog. I'm not an expert in this by any means. I do have a decent amount of experience. Last year was my first year using Underdog, so this is my second year really doing it. I was net positive last year too. I think I had about 40% return on investment, which is normally awesome. I didn't have a really high investment into Underdog, so it wasn't a huge deal. I've just been using that money to draft this year. I normally like to have at least 2 quarterback and tight ends. If I can get 3, that's awesome, but I'm not reaching for it. I definitely need at least 2 though of each. That's kind of my go-to. I normally stay around 5 running backs, sometimes 6, and then I'll have the most wide receivers because the guys at the end of the draft are a lot better at wide receiver than they are at running back, and also there's more wide receivers being played, so I think it's a little bit more valuable to have more. So that's kind of my mindset when I'm going into these drafts. I mean, I really care more about actual fantasy, like not this isn't real fantasy, but all my home leagues and all of those kind of stuff. That's what I really care about. So I'm really just using this as practice, and the whole winning money and stuff is just a bonus that comes along with it. They also have you can go and see their own rankings if you ever want to look at them. I know they also sponsor a ton of different fantasy YouTube content creators, so maybe one day that we'll get there, but I absolutely love their product. So I'm pretty much not looking at running backs, so I'm taking them out of the filter right now. All right, so I definitely need a tight end here, so I'm taking a tight end. Albert O, you're coming home with me, and I'm gonna need more tight ends later. Do I want to take it now, or do I want to take one of these wide receivers here? Still gonna be wide receivers, man. I'm not sure. This is the part I always get hung up on in these drafts. I'm gonna take another quarterback, honestly. I think Justin Fields has a lot of upside. He could be my backup quarterback to Stafford. I'm gonna take him here. Sometimes you kind of just need to take those guys, especially when you're at the one spot like I am. So I'm not gonna have another pick for like 20 picks, so I know there's gonna be nobody good left, so I need somebody who can play when Stafford isn't playing. And also, you have to take into the whole injury factor. If these people get injured, they're not playing your lineup for the rest of the year. That's why you need the depth. All right, my pick is coming up soon. I think I'm going to take another tight end. I definitely need another one. I don't know who's going to be left. Probably will take one of these rookie wide receivers too. I like having the rookies. There's always a lot of upside with them, and especially, the 14th, 15th round, we're just kind of shooting lawn darts here. So I'll take whoever's there, and would you look at that? We can get both of them. So between Romeo and Jahan Dotson, I mean, Jahan Dotson was drafted in the first round, Romeo in like the 6th or whatever, but completely different scenarios. I'm going to take Romeo just because there's more upside there, and I'm looking for upside at this point. Because if he can hit with Aaron Rodgers, and there's not a ton of competition compared to Dotson, who has Terry on his team, and I have Terry too, so I think that's pretty easy for me. If we go down to the tight ends, it's probably between Irv Smith and Mike Gesicki. Gesicki, I'd probably take in a normal league just because he's a little bit safer. There's more upside, though, I'd say, with Irv Smith, so I'm going to take him there. And so I feel pretty solid about how the team is constructed now. Got my quarterbacks and tight ends, at least my first 2. Got the running backs that I need. I feel great. These are all starters, so I feel solid about that, especially with Jonathan Taylor. Just an insane advantage. And from here on out, I mean, if there's some solid quarterbacks or tight ends that I think are a good value, I'll probably take them as a third. But if not, then I'll probably just be hammering wide receivers, trying to get some more hits, people with good upside, or who I can really think get a solid role for themselves. That's kind of how I look at the end of these drafts. It's either good values on quarterbacks and tight ends, high upside wide receivers, or I guess not all of them are high upside, but people who I can think can really carve out a role. Like Kenny Galladay, I don't think has high upside, but I think there is an opportunity for him to carve a role out and be valuable for fantasy. But also, I think 18 rounds, we can double check. Yeah, 18 rounds. So we got 3 more picks after this. Oh, and the very last pick of the draft, Mr. Irrelevant. Let's see who it'll be this time. All right. Well, we're on the board. Let's see. I think there's still some good running backs. I like Tyler Algier just because he has a really opportunity to kind of carve out a role for himself. So I think I'm going to take him. I have been really liking him this year. And then it's probably between Christian Watson and Noah Fant. I think there's just a lot of upside with Watson, obviously. I do have kind of a lot of Green Bay Packers, so I'll probably hold off on them. I think I'm going to take Noah Fant. Just get another tight end there and feel pretty good about that. So if I'm a little bit interested in Daniel Jones and Ryan Tannehill if they're there at the very end. Definitely don't need any more running backs. If there are wide receivers that I like left, then we could take them, but probably between wide receiver and a quarterback at this point. All right, we're getting to the end of this draft. I'm probably going to take a wide receiver here. If Alec Pierce is still there, I'm going to take him. I've been seeing a lot of good things out from him from camp, and I think there's a good chance that the Indy offense, being better than I think people expect, especially their passing. I think it's going to be good, and really good chance for Alec Pierce to be the wide receiver 2 there. So I've really been liking him. I'm going to take whichever one is here. I'll take Alec Pierce. If he's not here, I'll take Wan'Dale Robinson. I really like those rookies at the end of the draft. There's always a lot of upside with them. And, taking them with the 180th pick, if they don't hit, who cares? It doesn't matter. Let's see. Moment of truth. Wan'Dale Robinson goes. So leading with Alec Pierce, the guy that I wanted. He's going to be Mr. Irrelevant, but honestly, I love him this year. And there is my team. Woo, we can give it a look. Got Matthew Stafford, Justin Fields, Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, David Montgomery, Miles Sanders, Antonio Gibson, Tyler Algier, Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, Marquise Brown, Rashad Bateman, DeAndre Hopkins, Romeo Dubes, and Alec Pierce. My tight ends are Albert O, Irv Smith, and Noah Fant. Yeah, overall, I like my team. I'm not super stoked on having only 2 quarterbacks in the Underdog League, but obviously in a real draft, that's not important. I wouldn't even take a second one most likely. But my early middle rounds with Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, D-Mont, Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, Marquise Brown, I feel pretty solid about that. Not really sure what else I would change, but obviously, I'm sure people watching are going to have different opinions on the people that I could have taken. So let me know. I would love to talk about it. I love hearing other people's opinions and kind of talking about why you think that. So if you're going to let me know, also let me know why. I think that's super helpful for me and the other people reading the comments. But yeah, there you have it. The first Underdog draft in the books. Let me know what you guys think about it. Let me know if you guys like this more than doing the sleeper drafts. I'm still probably going to do both of them. But if there's one that you prefer more, then I'll definitely go towards that. This definitely takes a little bit more time, and I don't know about more work. Kind of the variables I talked about in the beginning. Hope you enjoyed though, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Later.